FM 94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play here on The Dark. And tonight on the phone with Ryan. He's the bassist of the band Punch Cabbie, which was part of our Rock of the Dark New Music Poll a few weeks back. A band out of Chicago. And first of all, Ryan, how you doing? Thanks so much for joining me on The Dark. And how's Chicago today?
It is great. Chicago is awesome, and it's still there. Just wanted to tell your audience thanks and thank you for having me on.
Hey, let's talk about this band, Punch Cabbie, and how did this band all come about, Ryan?
Oh, geez. This is about 10 years ago. Ronnie's a guitar player, he put out a ad on Craigslist. So I ended up showing up and tried out, and we ended up just going with this band. And Ronnie will be able to tell you a pretty funny story. You know, basically, I showed up, and I didn't know any of these songs, and we've never met before. So he started playing the songs, and I'm standing directly in front of him, and I'm staring at his hands, and I'm just watching. I'm sitting there, and I'm watching, and I'm watching. So then I'm watching, and I'm getting the parts, so I'm trying to learn them. But I'm standing directly in front of him, and he goes, you creeped me out when you were doing this, and you were standing there just watching my hands. He goes, I didn't want to make that call and say that you were in the band, but luckily he ended up doing it.
Nice.
So that's how we ended up doing it. Yeah, it was just online, and that's how we ended up meeting. And then later, Mike ended up joining. So I knew him. Actually, we went to high school together.
Okay.
But he was a little bit younger than me, and just told him, hey, we needed a drummer. And then Ronnie and Jarrett know each other. They've known each other since like kindergarten.
So that's how the whole band came apart, all about then. So,
yeah,
in a nutshell,
pretty much. You got pretty much 90% of the background.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the name Punch Cabbie. I got to know about this. What's the story behind it? How did it come about? Give me that lowdown.
This is actually pretty cool. This is about 8 years ago. Do you remember when all those people were protesting downtown and when they were robbing cab drivers? I don't know if you guys got the news up there, but for a while they were trying to get them to stiffen the penalty because people were beating up and robbing cab drivers. So they had this giant protest downtown, and then we were down there, and everybody had these signs, and it said, punch a cabbie, get a felony. So we're looking at it, and then going, hey, Punch Cabbie, because we were looking at names at the time. And then we started thinking about it. It's like, okay, easy to remember. Nobody has it. Let's go for it. So that's actually how the name came about.
Wow. How many people?
Yeah.
How many people?
Yeah, and
go ahead.
Oh yeah, and that's what's pretty cool because nobody has the name. So we ended up looking at that because we wanted to make sure we didn't want to grab something where somebody else has the name. We end up fighting with somebody later about it. It's easy to remember. So it all came that way, and we all agreed on it right there.
So how many people in Chicago know the true meaning of that, your band name?
You know what? Every single time, every single show, every something, somebody comes up and goes, did you do it because of Patrick Kane, man? But no, because I didn't do it because of Patrick Kane. Actually, yeah. So we still get that to this day. To this day, people still come up to us, man, the Patrick Kane thing, man. No, dude, actually, we were before Patrick Kane. So he punched the cabbie because of us. So we didn't do it because of him.
Nice. Sorry.
There are a lot of people, though, that do know about that story.
So are you a Blackhawks fan then, too, or what?
Yeah. Actually, you have to be a Blackhawks fan. If you live anywhere within, like, this whole, metro area, if you're not a Blackhawks fan, yeah, then you're probably a Blues or Detroit fan, and then that's that's very bad.
That's very bad. Well, see,
People will not.
Also,
they will not let you live that down.
well, yeah, obviously us here in Minnesota, we're not big fans of the Blackhawks, but I can accept it, I guess.
Yeah.
You guys have been good, so you've won some Stanley Cups over the last
Yeah.
few years, so it's okay. I'm okay with that. I don't know how far back or how old you are, but I remember back in the days when it was the North Stars and the Blackhawks, and you had Willie Plett battling Al Secord. If you remember those days, you ever seen those videos of them fighting back in the day?
No.
Oh, you should check that out. There are some awesome fights back in the early '80s between those two guys. It was just some beasts going at it back and forth, just battles all the time. Just check.
Yeah. Especially if you actually go to the games.
Yeah.
If you go to the games, then there's more battles in the stands than there are on the ice.
I'm sure there are.
There are.
What's it like playing music in Chicago? Give me the lowdown. What's happening there right now when it comes to the rock side of things?
It's terrible.
Well, that's being honest.
There are no good stations. Yeah, I'm being honest. It's terrible. There's no good stations around, and there's no stations like yours, and that's why we really want to be able to reach out and get our music out to a bunch of places. But around here, I mean, there's only one station. It's 95.1. That's Will Rock,
yeah.
and that's way up north. So a lot of you can't get it where we're located because we're too far south. Where we're located. So they're located somewhere on like the Wisconsin border.
Right.
So they're way north.
Right.
And we can't get it down here. So there's really no like hard rock stations. The last one that we could really get was 94.7 The Zone around here, Rock 103.5.
Okay.
I remember those. And that's how I ended up listening to Marilyn Manson and Nine Inch Nails. I got to listen to all that stuff on there.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of got me inspired to start playing.
It's sad, though, because if you think about it, Ryan, I mean, it's like that's a whole genre of music that, Chicago is one of the top 5 cities in America for population, and there's not a rock station for it?
Yeah, we're actually, I think we're number 2.
Yeah, I think you are.
We have just as much or more than, I think we have more than LA, actually, so I think we're 2. New York is number 1.
Right.
I mean, if you count the whole metro area, it's 9 million people.
Right.
And we have no good rock station. So it's a lot of this scene is just word of mouth and just social media and just building this underground scene and just getting everybody out to shows. But the hard part is just getting people to, to actually like see the posts and get out there and go. Because most of the time, when people see each other, they're kind of going, hey, did you know that Punch Cabbie's playing on, Friday at this? Oh, no, okay. So it's a lot of word of mouth and just spreading the word
right.
to get it out there.
Yeah. We're talking to Ryan. He's the bassist of the band. Go ahead. We're talking with Ryan, the bassist of the band Punch Cabbie. Go ahead. You were going to say something, Ryan?
Yeah, so how's Minnesota and everything up there with music?
Well, it's a good...
I know you guys are really pushing and helping.
It's a good point you bring up because actually just recently in our area in the last 4 months we lost a rock station which was just 30 miles to the south of us, which hurt for the listeners, maybe helped for us to get more listeners, but it's tough. There are some rock, it seems like in Minnesota here there are still a good amount of rock stations and even hard rock stations. I can think of one in Fargo. I can think of one in Bemidji. I can think of one in Duluth. I can think of one in the Twin Cities, 93X, down in Mankato. Obviously, we're here in Little Falls. So, I mean, I think there's a bunch around, but yeah, it's not like, you can turn the dial and you can hear probably 6 or 7 country stations just like that, or even pop stations. So, yeah, it's few and far between, but there's a history of rock up here, I would have to say.
That's great. That's good when you guys are keeping it going like that, and because eventually, that's what it was over here. We had 2 real good stations, and then it turned to top 40, and actually when they changed the format, it went from hard rock to news.
Yeah.
So that huge format change, and then there was nothing, and then nobody could get it out, and nobody can play it. It's tough.
I think the hardest thing that I've come, at least with the other rock stations, at least in Minnesota, is they're not very willing to play brand new stuff. They're waiting until it maybe charts and then they play it, and that's the difference that we have with other rock stations is we're willing to, hey, if we hear something that sounds good, I don't need to have it chart to say I need to play it. So I'm going to play it because it's good.
And that's the catch-22. How do you chart if nobody will play it until you chart?
Exactly.
Yeah, and there's no way that we'll ever see top 200 unless people start picking up our stuff and start playing it, and that's why we appreciate radio stations like yours. It helps us do that, and it helps us get on the boards, because there are stations that will pick us up without charting, which is great, and that's awesome, and we appreciate that.
Well, hopefully there's other stations, at least for myself in that, we at least report to Under the Radar chart, so it is a chart out there that people sometimes they do take a look at, so that definitely helps, and hopefully other programmers see that at times. Let's talk about that for just a second. In your song that we're playing on our airwaves, Hands Are Tied, how is that song doing nationwide right now? Are you spun in other cities around the U.S. of A.?
Yeah, actually it's doing pretty good. There's a bunch of stations that are picking it up, so it's going really, really, really good. People are responding to it very positive. So actually, we just did it as a single to re-release because actually Jarrett, the singer, he left for a little bit, so he ended up leaving. He just had some issues to take care of his job and family and all that stuff. And then when he came back, we were like, you know what, let's do a radio single. And we said, let's make this as radio as we can make radio of radio. And we just put it out there, and everybody likes it, and it's going great. So I actually find out today is Tuesday. We find out at the end of the week. New Ocean Media is actually doing our radio campaign. Tim Binder, he's doing a great job.
Yes.
So he sends us a report every week, and then I'll be able to find out where we're at.
Timmy's a great guy. I've had a chance to talk with him for the last couple of years, and yeah, he's definitely helping. And I was just you led into my next question, kind of, is who's helping you out, get out there? I mean, especially you got Tim with New Ocean Media. Is there somebody else in the actual rock scene that you're looking towards some help, or some guys that are helping you out?
Actually, we have some help from Pipeline Entertainment. She works her own online radio station too, called Extreme Alchemy. Her name is Melissa Bayut. It's hard to pronounce her. Like, she's got that French last name, and I always tongue tie on it. But she's helping us a lot.
That's great.
A lot with that. So yeah, and her and her husband have just been pushing, and they just do it just because. It's really cool. We cross promote with her station too. So I actually work with her online radio station. I'll do some interviews. We actually played a festival on, I think it was the 9th in Yorkville, Illinois.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. Yep.
It was a camping. Yeah, the revival.
Yeah.
And we ended up playing that. It was cool. Oh man, you want to talk about cool?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
It was like this camping, and everybody, he set up this giant stage, and he had bands going from 2 until 10 at night, and it was just constant, band, and then everybody was getting drunk. Oh man, it was fun, and we got to meet. It was and it was cool because it was almost like a college experience where everybody's nobody knows each other.
Right.
And by the end of the weekend, everybody knows each other. And then you know where the party campsites are. You know where the crazy people are. There were guys that were dressed like Moses. There was another guy dressed like Jesus. You know, and they're just running around acting crazy. You know, everybody knew those guys.
Oh yeah.
So, and then, oh yeah. So, and they were, you know, running around and had all sorts of magic brownies and passing those out. So,
And
oh yeah.
and that was just
it was crazy.
That was just kind of upper Midwest bands, correct? Just kind of that's all it was, right? Midwest bands.
Yeah. Yeah, there was, well, Dead Horse went there, but they're from Iowa.
Okay.
So, Another Lost Year, I think.
Yeah, I know.
So, and I think they're from Tennessee. So it was a bunch of bands, and we got to meet some new ones. We got to, and actually, I actually had my dog there too. I have a little Pomeranian. He's sitting on my lap right now, and I had him there. So I had a fund for him. I had a giant sign and it said, "Help Luigi get to the strip club." So I have this little Pomeranian. Yeah. So people were coming up and go, "What's a Luigi?" And I go, "Here you go." They pick him up. "Oh my God! Oh!" So I had him at the table. So we had such a fun time. Though it was a really good time. But it's things like that need to be promoted on the radio and help with that. I mean, that festival was so cool. I liked the idea of it. It was so much fun, and it wasn't like a typical show. It was just everybody coming together and people you don't know. I met so many people that day. I met guys from everywhere. I met a tattoo artist from all the way from South Beloit, and he was talking about his projects, what he has going on, and
Right.
you know, as he showed me some of his artwork, it's like, wow, you know, it's all the talents too that were there. It was so cool. It was such a fun time.
Very cool.
But it's things like that. Yeah, it's just things like that just help us get going and get the name out there. And that's it. You know, that word of mouth, and it was like this whole underground scene, and it was a couple hundred people probably that went camping.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. It was like this camping / it was like a mini Woodstock kind of deal.
Yeah, so that's what it kind of sounds like. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're talking with Ryan. He's the bassist of the band Punch Cabbie. They're out of Chicago. You know, let's talk about the future of this band, Punch Cabbie. Where do you guys want to take it? What is the dreams? What are the visions that you guys have of this band?
Oh, geez. My dream is to turn around and do this full time. That is my dream, and that's what we're shooting for. You know, we're trying to get out there. We're trying to put the music out. Actually, right now we're working on full-length CD. That is our next goal. So we're writing new music. We do pre-production here, so we're recording. We're going through all of our songs. We're going through it part by part by part, and adding and subtracting, doing everything that we need to do to be able, when we go in there, we're going to be as prepared as possible and go, here's our songs. This is what we're doing. We got everything all laid out. We're ready to go. So that is the goal right now, is to get just a well-written CD. And the way it is right now, we have acoustic songs, we have hard rock songs, we have radio songs. I mean, it spans. So it's not going to be the cookie-cutter CD where it just, you hit play and you're like, oh, that sounds like this, it sounds like this. Nothing sounds like anything in them. It has its own, we let the music stand on its own.
Very cool.
That's pretty much our plan with that. Yeah.
Any idea when that might be coming out?
Next year.
Okay.
So we're working on it right now. We plan on getting into the studio by probably February, because we only have about 6 songs left to write.
Right.
So then we're just going through. And then we just go through. We're handing it to our engineer and going, here you go. And then we're just going to track our parts, from the beginning and just all the way through.
Right.
And that's it. And it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into that years and years, not just weeks and weeks either.
Oh yeah, we have songs on there that were written 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and didn't make it on the last CD. And so, geez, Myriad came out, a year ago. We were pushing that, and ever since we've written these songs even prior to. So some of these songs are making onto it. There's one song that Jarrett wrote 7, 8 years ago that never made it on to anything, and now this is going to be an acoustic song, and that's probably going to end up being the first single. It's great, and we rewrote it. He wrote it as an individual song where he just plays it on the acoustic and did it on his own. Now, we're doing it as a full band, and he goes, wow, I couldn't have had a better vision for this song, and the way it went, and it sounds great. I can't wait to be able to get that out there. That's definitely going to be the first single, and we're definitely going to do a music video for it too, and be pushing it hard, especially to you guys in radio and just everywhere.
We're talking with Ryan. He's the bassist of the band Punch Cabbie. Have you guys done much touring? I know you obviously did a festival and that. Are you guys got some plans for touring in the near future here?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. We plan on going out actually with Pipeline in January.
Oh, okay.
Setting up some shows. So it's going to end up being a Pipeline Entertainment, Extreme Alchemy tour with a lot of bands that they work with.
Okay.
So it'll be like, State of Mind. There's a bunch of bands. There's probably at least 7, 8. So I don't know how they want to set this up, but I know that we're going to do probably Ohio. It'll be East Coast.
Okay.
Basically New York down, and then we're going to go east to Ohio. We'll do Indiana. We're going to do a bunch of places, but last year we ended up going south. We did Tennessee. We did a bunch of places. Indiana, and then we did Tennessee. Was great. That was fun. Clarksville, and playing the warehouse in Clarksville. That place is awesome.
Wow.
It has such good sound, and it's a really cool place. Yeah. That's the greatest thing about getting out.
Yeah.
Going and doing, these shows is you get to see these new places. And there's so many. There's so many cool venues, and I really, really like playing some of these venues. They have some really nice ones.
Yeah, it's amazing because
historic sites too.
You think about it, Ryan. I mean, a lot of people think, oh yeah, all these bands, they just want to play at the big venues. It's like, no, that there's no character there. It's the small venues that actually have a lot of character, don't they?
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. Like the Machine Shop in Flint, Michigan.
Yeah,
it's small. It's a small venue, but that is such an iconic place that when you go there, there's people, they have stuff all over the walls from bands that have played there over 50 years, 30
right.
years. Bands have been playing there, and it's just one of those spots. And the guy that does sound there, amazing. I mean, he's awesome.
Right.
It's a great place, but that's one of those venues, though. It's small, but great sound. That's like around here too. We have some very, very great, just good venues. Small, but they have great sound. They have great, just a good house crowd, like Cobra Lounge. Great place. And it's off of Ashland and Lake in the city.
Okay.
That place, it gets so many people that just go there, just on their own, and they just love to just hear good music. And that's why they go there, because they have this house crowd that just feeds toward it, because they know that this club books, good bands.
Right. Absolutely.
They want to go there and just listen to music. Yeah, that's the best part.
Absolutely. Hey, one thing I want to ask you, Ryan, before we get going here is, since we talked about touring, let's put together your ultimate tour. If you could choose who you went out on tour with, give me 3 other bands who would be your ultimate tour.
Okay. Do they have to be bands that are still around?
No, you don't have to do that. Sometimes I do. Sometimes give me 3 that you aren't around and 3 that are around, maybe something like that. How's that? Do different tours then.
Okay. Probably the ones that aren't around. Oh man, I would love to go with Mudvayne. Back in the day, Mudvayne.
Yep.
In 2001. Oh, that would have been awesome. Geez. Probably Static X.
Yeah. The late great Wayne Static. Yep.
Fear Factory.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. And well, Fear Factory's still around.
Right.
But that they're definitely going to go on my other list. And probably. Oh man, that's a tough one. There's so many bands that I like and be able to just play with. Man, probably. I'm drawing a blank.
I stumped you.
So many, it's like, yeah, you did stump me on that.
Stump the musician.
Definitely the ones that are around though. It would definitely be Stain, and because I love Stain.
Yeah.
I love their old stuff back in the day. It was so cool. And
yeah, off of Dysfunctional. Yeah, that was. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Dysfunctional was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I remember when that came out, and you were talking about small clubs, and that was the first time we went to I think it was the Riv, and this is '99.
Okay, yeah.
It was '98, '99 when that came out. Yeah, and I got to see them or actually I think it was '97 because I think I was a freshman in high school, and we went to one of the clubs to go see this. Oh man, they were awesome.
Yeah.
It was such a cool show, and when I saw them play the first time, and I saw Mike Mushak, he always had the greatest stage presence. And when I saw them play that first time, I was like, oh, wow, this is I want to be that.
Right.
I want to be on stage. I want to do that. This is what I want to do. And I was just starting to play guitar, and that's when I started really focusing on it. My friends were, sitting around playing Goldeneye, and that's all I was doing was playing guitar, and for hours and hours and hours, and that's it. And it's just that's what I knew I wanted to do, was play music.
That's a band that needs to get back together. They've been taking a little break because I know Aaron's been doing his stuff solo-wise on the countryside, and Mike, of course, with Saint Sony and that. But those guys need to get back together and start rocking again, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, they do. That was the last time I saw them all together was probably, it had to be about 10, 12 years ago, 13 years ago. At Q101 Fest, it was one of their radio fests, and that was when the format was still hard rock. So yeah, and it had to be about 13, 15 years ago. It was some block party, Q101 block party. That was it, and I got to see them play there, and I haven't seen them since.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think last time we. Yeah. I think the last time we saw them was they were at a casino up here in Minnesota about 2009. I think it was the last time I think I got to see them. So, but anyway, I know we got to get going here, but let's get some more information about this band, Ryan. If more people want information about the band Punch Cabbie, how can they get more information on it?
Well, we have our Facebook page, facebook.com/Punch Cabbie Band. We'll be out there doing that. Email, you can email us for booking, punchcabbie@yahoo.com. Yeah, I mean, we have Reverb, we have Instagram, we have our, Twitter. We got everything. We got all that stuff. And actually, if you're looking at the music, we are actually on Touch Tunes, and we're in all the bars. So if you got Touch Tunes or AMI, type in Punch Cabbie. Play our stuff.
Awesome.
It's all in there, and yeah, that's the cool thing is, you can go to any bar and sit there, and I type in the band and hit play, and bam, there it is. And then people are coming, what is this? I like this. And then when you say, this is my band. Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome, man. Let me buy you a shot. Okay.
That's what you should.
Keep them coming.
I got a great idea for you, Ryan. You should do a campaign via social media to all your fans across the U.S. of A. that says you need to go to your local, tavern, bar, whatever, that has the jukebox there. Everybody at this time punches in Punch Cabbie and plays it, and everybody then in America is going to hear it.
Oh, that would be awesome. That's actually a really good idea.
I mean, it's
a really good idea. I'm going to put that out.
I mean, why not? I mean, or the next time on a Friday night, you go to your local establishment, your bar, or whatever, in that, and there it is. Boom. You get your fans to play it. Everybody in that bar can hear it at one time at least. And then you might have somebody that says, hey, who's that? What's that? It's just a way to get it started.
Yeah, exactly.
You just never know who's listening.
Any way to get it started.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's the cool thing is there are people that come up and go, yeah, wow, that's actually really cool. I actually work out at a gym close to here, and one of the trainers, I work with one of the trainers. Well, another one of them, he used to play in a band back in the day. All of a sudden, I get this text one day, man, your CD is fire, bro. Who is this?
Right.
Well, the trainer, he downloaded it and goes, you know what, I want to hear this band. Wow. He goes, and he won't stop. Now, every single time I see him, man, that CD is awesome, bro. Man, I love Introspection, bro. That stuff is awesome. So it's cool the way that works. And I tell them, you know what, show your friends.
Absolutely.
And keep it going.
Absolutely.
And that's what I tell everybody, too, when people are buying CDs at the at Revival Fest. I said, you know what, hey, if you may not have, here, take a CD, but I want you to give it to 10 people.
Right.
And I want you to just make copies, give it to whoever you think would like it.
Right.
Sometimes we'll get messages, hey, my friend, John, this band, he saw you guys there. You guys are awesome. So that's it. It's just getting the word out, just doing that.
Absolutely. That's what we're trying to do here on The Dark, too. And you know what? We're going to play your latest song, Hands Are Tied, right now. Hey, it's been a lot of fun talking to you, Ryan. I wish you guys the best of luck. And when you get that tour all worked out, make sure you make a stop up to Minnesota, even though you're a Blackhawks fan, all right?
Yeah, I could see that. There's probably a big gate in front of town that says, are you a Blackhawks fan or not? We'll probably be excommunicated from the entire town.
I just got to rub it into you, all right? That's okay. It's just the way it is, okay? It's a hockey thing, all right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Nobody can mess with hockey. You can't. That's the thing with the Midwest. You can't mess with the hockey, and you can't mess with the beer. Those are the two things. And most of the time when they're combined, that's when the problems start.
Right on, Ryan. Ryan, thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you, and we appreciate everything that you guys do.
Once again, that is Ryan. This is the band Punch Cabbie. Their latest song is called Hands Are Tied. Here it is right now. It's on The Dark. It's on FM 94.